Okay. Tell us a little bit about just talking about the future of Apple, and you just heard Tim Cook speak, and you've just written about them recently. Tell us a little bit about his role going forward in terms of is he there to stay? Is he you talked about this where he's got a 10-year stock vest.
Yeah.
Is the way things have gone the last 6 or 8 months? Has it gone great? Has it gone as expected? What's your take?
So first of all, it's by any reasonable measure, it's too early to tell. And in the book, I say, Tim Cook may be a caretaker CEO of Apple, but it could be a very long caretaker period. Yeah. And I mean that. I think he's as far as I can tell, he's he may be the CEO that Apple needs right now. This is a big company with a lot of complex
That's a great point.
Operations and things going on, and he's somebody who's on top of that. Let me tell you about the exchange that I had with him at the All Things D conference last week. It was because it was fascinating and entertaining as well. I stepped up to the microphone and identified myself, and then I said, "It's nice to be able to ask you a question, Tim," because I hadn't had that opportunity yet. And I asked him what his strengths and weaknesses were as a CEO and as a person, and he declined to answer my question.
Wow.
At first he said, "Well, I think you could answer that question," and I basically, without saying, I sort of stepped back from the microphone, and my attitude was, "Well, I know I could answer that question. I have answered it, but I want you to answer it." So he didn't, and then there was this pause, and Walt Mossberg and Kara Swisher seemed content for the moment to let me continue to do the interview. So I continued, and I said, "All right. We know that Steve Jobs paid a lot of attention to design and marketing. Are you paying that kind of attention to design and marketing?" So I'm getting around to answering your question. And he gave me, if you look at his exact words, which I haven't gone back and done yet, he gave a sort of a thoughtful answer. He said, "Well, Steve spent considerably all of his time on those two areas, and I'm spending my time on all the areas that are of interest to the company." Now, that's exactly what those of us looking in from the outside expected. That's what we suspected, was that he was not going to have the same focus on design and marketing as Steve Jobs had. But he gave some color on that. So I have no evidence that he's not going to be the CEO for the foreseeable future.
When do you think Apple will have its first real post Steve Jobs test? At what point does the caretaking? Is it to when they introduce a new product? Is it as the tablet market evolves? What do you think it is?
Well, yeah, we're going to need true insider knowledge to comment on. There's a very small handful of people will be able to say, well, this product Steve had no influence on. And you're going to have great insider knowledge to be able to speak authoritatively on that, because Apple plans really far ahead. They work on things for a long time. Some of those things never see the light of day. And so Steve Jobs would have been aware of things that were in the works for a very long time. Having said that, when Apple comes out with its first revolutionary product, its next revolutionary product, and I would say the last revolutionary product was the iPad, and the one before that was the iPhone. When they come out with their next revolutionary product, we'll be able to begin to judge the new regime.